There was an underwater sequence.
Oh, great. Would have been a pain in the ass to shoot, but very cool, very
Um,
cool.
and thankfully, Kevin went, I don't think we need that.
I would love to start with the question of asking about the development, the initial pitch for the movie. When Marvel Studios approached you, what kinds of key elements were they talking about in the very, very, very beginning?
Heart, that they wanted heart, and that they wanted her to have a really emotional journey. So that was all I knew. And then I made a 7-minute short film with beautiful music with an editor in Sydney. And then I went to LA. They brought me to LA and I met with the producers and I screened that short film. So they kind of knew what my vision was. And a lot of the elements in that little short film are still in the movie now.
I believe it. I mean, when you mentioned heart, I think that the movie has heart. It's overflowing with it. It's surprising how much heart is in the movie, considering I was expecting a kick-ass action espionage thriller, and I got that, and then plus all that heart. What kinds of challenges did you and the team behind the film have to overcome, knowing that audiences knew about Natasha's fate in Avengers Endgame? How did you guys approach that?
I think what we had to do was to make sure that the film could stand alone and that it had to begin in a really fresh, unexpected way so that the audience would go with it. It wasn't like we were going to start with a shot of Scarlett Johansson.
Mm-hmm.
We started with Eva, and so it gives the audience a time to sink into the movie and then to be taken on that journey.
Rachel Weisz has wanted to work with you for a very long time. So what was it like finally getting to work with her?
It was a joy. What she is incredibly smart and hardworking and no fuss. So she's just really professional and beautiful. So I actually felt when I had all the cast on set with me, that there wasn't a rotten apple.
Yeah.
You know, I was pretty lucky.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great cast. I had a chance to talk to David earlier, and he said he was the one geeking out about the costumes, but Rachel was absolutely professional. And that's, because she's a professional actor is what David said. So, yeah. How did you all approach creating this dysfunctional family of super spies? How did you approach that?
I asked that I could have rehearsals and probably more rehearsals than what would be usual. And what we did was we rehearsed the entire film, just the scenes that we were in. And then the actors did a lot of improvisation around the dinner scene. Some of that went into the movie. And then we could all just meet and talk and add little moments that gave it a sharpness, So it wasn't, what it did, it made it specific to their family. So it wasn't like your family or my family. They had their own little kooky moments that, were just them.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I know the answer to this question. And the question I want to ask is, would you come back to direct another installment in Natasha's life? I would also like to ask, I don't know if you can talk about this or not, but has that been discussed at all with Marvel? Or is it too early, or you can't say, or any of that?
Marvel are really great people. I think they're really, really busy making making the films they've got now. So we're not talking about anything except, you know what we're talking about? This movie.
Yeah.
Because you know what? It's taken us a year to put it out.
Oh, I know.
So we're kind of, I don't know. We're really excited about sharing it.
I have been waiting. I mean, I'm a lifelong Marvel fan. I've been waiting for these characters to come to the screen, and especially with Scarlett's character since 2010 to get her own movie. Can you talk a little bit about how, because I've heard Scarlett and other folks in the film talk about that a Black Widow movie could have happened then, but it would have been very different than what this is. Can you talk a little bit about how the years have added to this specific story?
What she has inside her is a whole series of black boxes. And I think as the years have progressed, they've just got more and more black boxes, and she's been shutting all these doors. And I think what we did in this film is we started yanking them open. And I think if you had have done that earlier, she wouldn't have been as interesting and as complex. And I think what we needed to see was her not being able to face herself, because I think all of us have been through times in our life where we're alone.
Yeah.
And I think she and Yelena get together, and I think Yelena's yanking all this stuff out of her. And I think by the end, they're this incredibly powerful team.
That's a beautiful metaphor. I agree. They're a fantastic team by the end of it. What do you want Black Widow fans to feel when they finally get to watch this movie?
Uplifted. I want them to feel, doesn't matter how bad your day is, but I want it to be like a fairground ride, and right at the end, it's like you get a big hug.
Again, the metaphors are amazing, Cate. This is fantastic. I'm a huge fan of everything that Marvel Studios does, and I also love sort of studying the visual development process. Was there anything in the visual development, pulling inspiration from the comic books, anything that maybe didn't make the cut for this story, but that you still think is really cool, that we ultimately are not going to get to see in this movie?
There was an underwater sequence.
Oh, great. Would have been a pain in the ass to shoot, but very cool. Very cool.
And thankfully, Kevin went, I don't think we need that. I was like, oh, really?
That's very exciting. Very like classic spy movie stuff, which is great. Cate, thank you so much for talking to us today. I loved the film. I can't wait for everybody to finally get to see it. It was everything that I'd hoped for as a Black Widow fan and as a Marvel fan. And hopefully you get to create more stories with these characters and in this world. Have a fantastic rest of your day. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
You got it.